Thank you, Adam. It's wonderful you're bringing this product, which is proven in the DACH region, in the German-speaking regions, by some of the largest contractors and owners there into this market. And with the strength of the rest of your portfolio and the financial muscle of your new owners, I'm sure you're going to be quite successful with it. So thank you again for your continuing support of Glimpse, and look forward to having Think back next time, hopefully.
Thank you.
Okay. Next up is Richard Brotherton with Archdesk. Richard.
Hi, good afternoon. Hello again,
Hey.
Phil.
How are you?
Very good, thank you. So let me try and get my technology working again.
Okay, I'm just going to hide my camera and turn off my mic. So just introduce yourself for the recording, please. There.
Absolutely. Can you see my screen? Great. So good day, everybody. I'm Richard Brotherton. I'm the CEO of Archdesk. We are a company looking to challenge your view on how construction tech manages your business. The topic of today's presentation really came out of a discussion I had internally with my marketing team when they were looking to put a new blog out and talk about the effect of what the industry is perceived as to the greater world, where they say the construction industry is poor in managing projects, that we're constantly bad. We are likened to the bottom of the pile of industry in terms of productivity and its advancement. And I felt that was wholly unfair. And in fact, I believe that actually an industry, we are a very, very important and a very large industry that effectively is very diverse and extremely complex. And I would actually go too far as to argue as we're one of the most complex. And really to be benchmarked against manufacturing and so forth when you're looking at such a wide industry isn't really looking at the picture as a whole. Pushing the right slides. So as we know, and I hope we'll appreciate that it is an important industry. It affects our everyday lives, from where we live, where we work, and how we get there. And alongside of all that is the extreme complexities of individual projects and how you effectively tackle those projects across all the multiple different types of activities that is related in construction. We know that, of course, it struggles, and it struggles because it is complex, and we cannot standardize the construction industry to the extent that we all live in the same buildings, drive on the same roads, and et cetera, et cetera. One, we wouldn't want to. Two, we can't knock down the whole of London and replace it in one whole go. We have to build around that and so forth like that. But we know there are challenges out there. And some of the challenges are actually brought about by digitalizing what effectively is the standard old approach. Moving what we used to do on a spreadsheet or in a piece of paper onto a spreadsheet and replicating the same thing as we did before. Okay. So really, what does make successful project management? Well, first of all, the perception needs to be that we need to view it as a whole, a holistic view of what a construction company does, and look at the form, way, and assets of what that company does. And that's working with its people, with its equipment, its materials, and of course the money that business is involved with. Particularly when you're looking at the complexities of running multiple projects at the same time, and all those projects need to utilize the same sorts of business assets, it makes it extremely difficult for companies to make the right decisions if they're not looking at the whole picture. We saw that happening, particularly with the pandemic, with that coming in and affecting a huge amount of projects at the same time. People needed to know, or decision makers needed to know what to do, when to buy materials, when to move people if they can do, etc. And because things stopped, the money stopped as well. If they were not finishing their work, their stage payments were perhaps not being done. Therefore, spending money and using cash puts a lot of pressure on the business. So as we can see that, What we're trying to do at Archdesk, what we're doing now effectively is bringing through those four main assets and utilizing the view of the whole portfolio across all the elements of those projects into a single source of information. In essence, a golden thread of data flow, allowing the company to look at what it's doing, how it's making the decisions as a holistic approach. So if a project does stop and people are tied up in that project and they can't move to the next one, can material be bought? Can cash flow be utilized to do that? And what were the implications of doing so? So what we've done at Archdesk is developed a construction platform, an end-to-end construction platform that effectively looks at the whole life cycle of a project from the ideation all the way through to handover in a highly configurable and open source environment. That is utilizing, in essence, a low-code or no-code type platform with a huge amount of Lego flexibility around applications that can be plugged in and used, utilized when and when appropriate. It, of course, needs to be highly collaborative, and because what you effectively do is viewing the data at any point, at the same point as anybody else, you share information in real time alongside of that, and therefore reducing the silos. Okay. Of course, we are fully open, and with API access in all elements of the system, you can push and pull information from any other applications into that to make sure that that data is further enriched and passed across to respective applications. Okay. So effectively, we look at the four main areas of a business. That's looking from the operations to the financials and the project management to the resource management, which ultimately revolves around the people, the equipment, and the materials and financing. So all the areas such as supply management, tender management, understanding what you're doing and the right qualifications, the right criteria from those various different suppliers, all the way through to the assets and the resources that you have in the business, and therefore the activities that you're involved in. So what we're doing is utilizing effectively all the various different aspects of the business, utilizing the data to make the right decision at that right time. Of course, that Lego flexibility needs to be plugged in when required, and these, as part of the standard system, gives you full access to all the main activities within the business involved in working with multiple different projects or projects on the go. That could be from the beginnings, from the ideation, as I talked about before, quoting and estimating, identifying the right suppliers through the tender management, managing the stock, and of course then putting through the program of works and scheduling of your resources, your materials, and then of course reporting on that through very financial management tools, of course, alongside of that, and then through the dashboards to make sure that the people can see exactly the information that's required. Okay. So Phil was mentioned a little bit earlier in the day that he did like live demos. So what I've done is gone through quite quickly, so I can perhaps give him his wish and give him a little bit of a live demo at the end of this. But what we can see here, before I go into the live demo, is the various of aspects of how you're visualizing the data within Archdesk. You can see on the top left-hand corner there, that's the dashboard showing the performance of the business in terms of what's going on with the business as a whole. And you can dig down to the granular detail of individual projects that are affecting that. Or you can represent or view the data through a bit more visual model, and within that visual model you can also utilize that model to then actually push and drive data throughout the life cycle. So you can dig into a particular window in that case and see where it lies, in particular in regards to the schedule. That schedule can then be obviously reflected back into a master schedule, be it Primavera or Microsoft project, and of course you can then further enrich that data as that model goes through. So in essence, moving that design model through the construction phase and into the facilities management with true information. So before I jump into the software, check my time. In essence, what we're doing at Archdesk is reducing the silos of data and getting that data flow, allowing a holistic view of the whole business activities, a single source of trusted information from cradle to grave, and keeping that unified program and financials together, making sure that you're making decisions based on what you can afford, what you can do, and actually what's happening in the program. Of course, utilizing the automated and unified workflows to eradicate those errors and waste, and making a streamlined flow of information through the integration of communications between site and office. We are fully flexible, as we talked about, a module. We based either on cloud or can put on various different hybrid solutions, and of course can scale alongside the business growth. And of course, we fully believe in open source in terms of pushing information and that data throughout other applications. So pushing both in and out of Archdesk is absolutely critical in terms of sharing that information. So as time permits, I shall now endeavour to jump into the software. I'm using this on an iPad, so this should be a good test of my skills with my finger skills, but we should try my best. So what I'm first of all looking at the beginning here is a view of the company. We have a dashboard. We can see a number of different widgets going across there in terms of showing the various status. You can see the financials of the company. These are highly configurable, totally set up as a company wants to have it. And you can go down to various different details from company details through to actual individual projects. And various different departments. Okay, so we have, of course, we talked about the dashboards. We also have a full company view, as in terms of what's happening with all the employees, what employees they are. We can dig down and hold all the employee information, including certification and so forth for that, with their holiday. Likewise with assets and any storage of where those assets and so forth are. Okay. We also hold full schedule of all the employees, where they're working on, what projects they're hipping on, their particular timelines, where the calendars are, etc., etc. So we have a holistic view of the company at that point. What I can also dig down into then, if I just jump ahead across a bit, is into the individual projects. So here we have a full list of all the projects. If I go into the projects that are affecting that overall dashboard, I can see on the left-hand side all the respective information regarding the projects onto there. The top right, and I can see the status of where we are. We're in final handover, final accounts, pre-construction 25%, contractor selection with 35%. Any properties relating to that I can see, and I can add to this as we go through. I can also define fully and highly configurable workflows for any different type of process. With each of those processes, I can dig in at any particular time, see where it is, add respective information as we go through it. Okay, as we go through a little bit further on to that, I can then also go into my documents, my RFI management, all respective documentation onto the project, and also then go into areas of the business such as the financial dashboards of this particular project, how we're getting on, the status of what the project is, where we got it on, and also dig down to the granular detail of that. So I want to see why I have a foundation expense. I can see I spent 26,000. I haven't spent any budget. It's not such a great demo, but in respect to information on that, so that doesn't really help. Okay, I can see the budget, respective expenses coming to that budget, any purchase orders, invoices and so forth affecting that. So I see effectively my whole budget, my whole project and the status of that project. I can also view that in various different ways. As I mentioned, we're looking at that data and we're reflecting now the data in this respect in terms of a particular BIM model. So now I'm seeing that project in a BIM model. I can also dig down further into that. I can actually say, okay, I want to have a look at those particular double doors. I can see the double doors within the BIM model there. Okay, at any particular time of those doors, for instance, there, I can click on that door. I can find out further information regarding the BIM details, but I can also see any status of where that is. So I can see that door currently is in inspection, and 43% of it, who's on it, and what's happening onto it. If I actually then go into further detail on that, I can view the information to that. I can see who the people, any other information to it. I can see that Jay Morgan, in this case, was the project manager. He's approved that handover. If I want to go in and see what's happening with that handover, I can actually see that handover, or I can actually complete the handover in this case. Okay. Likewise, from this model, what I can also do then go through and create and run workflows off from here. So like I would be doing inside the data of Archdesk, I can actually also do this within a model, or indeed of any drawings as well. So your drawings, your model and your data are effectively reflecting exactly the same thing. So if I want to do a program, a task there, if I want to do a specific task, I can create a schedule. I can say, I don't inspect. Okay, I want to choose who wants to do it. Jay is going to be a busy boy today. Okay, so Jay will be doing that, and any other assets I want to have with that. Let's say, oh, so it's automatically telling me straight away. It's interrogating Jay is actually really busy. between this day. I need to find someone else. So it's now checking my data in terms of what's actually happening, where Jay's working, what he's doing. If I have a crane, I don't know, let's see the information on there. Okay, and I can define that and can define a budget. So at any particular point, I'm actually viewing the same data at any point at any time. So information is coming to me. I'm not having to dig for it, go into different applications and so forth. So all those silos of information where I'd have to run around or perhaps make decisions when they're not correct are no longer the case. So a very quick spin through on that one. I'm not sure how I'm doing on time there, Phil.
You're just out of time, but I'm so glad that you did the demo, because this morning we didn't have this and it looks beautiful. It's just, it just looks gorgeous. And you showed us a lot of functionality very quickly. So thank you, Richard. Thank you so much.
No problem at all. No problem. Just there quickly. That's just in terms of a Gantt, I can actually obviously go in at the same point and view any data in the same point as I was just doing in the model there. Okay. So. Yeah,
it's cool because it's new, right? This isn't that old an application, I'm guessing.
No, yeah, we're a fairly young company, and whilst we have certainly, what is it, over 120 customers utilising it, predominantly in the UK and the Middle East, and also Europe, it is all fairly new stuff. So yeah, exciting.